Humans of the Cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, we're talking about how 2023 is the year of fire in Yu-Gi-Oh! For some reason, whatever that reason may be, Konami is just going off with making fire support. It's not just the new Legendary Duelist, but multiple other products and sets that are, debuting more fire support that actually is legitimately, competitively interesting, and that we'll talk about here. So, going to go through everything that's kind of just already been, noted for the year for fire stuff. It's just interesting. I think one of the coolest things about this kind of little phenomenon we're talking about here is that Dark, obviously, always gets a ton of support. It's the most common attribute in the game. Light, similarly, being the second most, and the Chaos theme, we see a lot of light as well, and even to a slightly lesser degree, but still decently, Earth. Earth is like almost as common as light, and so those are never surprising, but we get wind, water, and fire sprinkled in here and there, but it's never a big enough waves at a time to really make some noise. And the fact that we're getting so much fire support all at once, and it's one of those three super underdeveloped attributes in the game, is very, very cool. I would not be upset if this became more of a thing of just, I don't know, even if it's just a thing of them making more wind, water, and fire attribute-based archetypes or support, just in general, just more cards for those, just to kind of really round out the game. It feels like the game is so light, dark, and earth-based. Like, it's crazy how many decks are earth, light, and dark. And so to see more of those other attribute decks would be really, really cool. So, let's get into it, though. Let's jump into all the stuff that I think makes the most sense here. Let's get rid of this. We don't want that. So obviously the Fire Legendary Duelist pack, obviously pretty exciting. Debuting three of the most, interesting fire archetypes out there, especially as they're relevant to the anime. Of course, Volcanic's a huge one. Their support's already solid, but they still have one more card yet to be revealed, so that's really cool. You have Battling Boxers. They weren't even like anything. I mean, same thing with Volcanics. They couldn't do anything. And now that this deck actually has some pretty cool plays, this card's probably the best card they got, funny enough, even though his design is hilarious, but I love it. And then Salamangreats. Also, they're still one card away as well. They should still have one more card coming. Salamangreats, we have no cards revealed for them. They still have 7 cards coming. They were competitively relevant like 2 to 3 years ago. So they could be, they could definitely just be caught right back up to the speed of the game. We'll see what happens there, but that's another really big one. So all 3 of these, I think these could have rogue potential. This could have, on the higher end, legit meta potential. We'll see how the support turns out, but pretty nice. From there, we move to Duelist Nexus. Now, nothing in Cyberstorm Access or Photon Hypernova, but to be fair, Photon Hypernova for the OCG came out in 2022. So it's like almost, you know what I mean? When Konami is deciding cards to make, I feel like they considered the OCG first. And so if Photon Hypernova came out in 2022, that wouldn't contribute to, the Year of Fire. I don't even know if that's like an actual thing for them, but that's just what I'm calling it. Just because there's been so much fire support in 2023 so far. But then we jumped to Duelist Nexus. Cyberstorm Access didn't really have much stuff as well, but that came out in January for the OCG, I think. So again, okay, it's right at the beginning of the year. So going down this set, you have a couple things. First off, Infernoble Knights. Very scary deck. This kind of similarly to Salamangreats, but even more so than Salamangreats. Less, not even as long ago as Salamangreats was a tier 1 competitive threat. They've lost some of the degenerate pieces that they took advantage of for their combos, but now they just get such good, actual archetypal support that they could be meta again. I'm very curious to see where this deck lands, how good it really comes through, but I really think the potential here is quite high. Evoltiles, not as high. This is the first one where the ceiling for this archetype is certainly not super impressive for sure, but I do think relevant relative to Evoltiles in general, the support's good. The support is good for what Evoltiles are. Now, you could argue the same thing for Volcanics and Battling Boxers. They were all in this similar realm of just completely unplayable competitively, and those 2 other ones might be, but I think that's kind of the nature of the beast of getting 7 new cards in a Duelist pack. You're going to get enough stuff Whereas in a core set, if you only get 2 or 3 cards as an archetype that does nothing, it's a little bit harder to kind of get all the way there. But it's still nice for what they are. And maybe they could come out down the line. We'll see. Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace is another cool one, where you could even argue technically in the TCG, the deck build pack that had Rescue Ace's debut in it came out in 2023. But even more so, it's one of those decks where when it came out, it really wasn't that good competitively. This is the first to these 2 cards that they just got really puts them into a realm of like rogue status. You could actually consider playing them on the competitive level, which is cool. They still have a lot of weaknesses, but still cool. And then the last thing that we have that of even more fire support is Structure Deck Pulse of the King. I know technically the Red Dragon Archfiend is all the boss monsters are like dark dragons, which is so weird to me. It's so weird to me. Their aesthetic is red. They're red dragon. Red screams fire, right? Like, it just makes so much sense. And all of Jack Atlas's like main deck cards are like fire. So I don't get it, but like, whatever. You still want to go into it. His boss monsters are dark, but like, we already got 2 other monsters revealed for him, and I think they're both fire. Or I know the Resonators are fire. I'm not sure if the Archfiend was also a fire, but most of the red monsters in the main deck are all fire. So you could even argue that this More Than Dark is actually a fire-based structure deck, which is cool. I mean, they have a good start so far. They're still going to get 5 more new cards. They've been doing a pretty damn good job with structure decks. I mean, we saw like Trap Tricks now are just like a competitive deck, just out of nowhere. I'm excited to see where they go, and maybe it'll be more fire stuff. Probably at least one more fire monster. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I want to leave it here. And maybe the next core set doesn't have much fire stuff at all, and it's kind of, they're just really giving love to fire right here and now, and this set will come out like very similar time frame to the Legendary Duelist, so it's really just giving a lot of cool fire decks all at once. Like I said, I'd love for them to do this more often. It's just it doesn't even have to be giant waves of stuff, but just more often. Water archetypes get support, wind archetypes get support. Just do that more often. Like, they just all need everything, and I kind of get a little bit tired of like dark and light and earth decks because there's just so many out there compared to the other 3 attributes. So yeah, I think it's really cool. Let me know down below your thoughts on this. What other fire decks would you love to see maybe get support in the next core set? Or, I mean, we'll see what happens with Animation Chronicle. We could definitely see fire, like anime fire cards come out as well. Like, you never know. But yeah, just a really interesting topic. Like, it's just funny. I just think it's funny and cool that Konami just went after it with fire support like crazy. But that's it for today. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you like about this? What's your favorite fire attribute deck? I'd love to hear that down below. But I'm out here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel for more discussion videos as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.